chaired or was chaired by former Attorney General and MP for Esikado Ketanjo Gate. Now, other members of the committee, as you can see here, MP for Yelo Krobo, Magnus Kofi Amwate, MP for Drabing, Amapoma, MP for Talensi, BT Baba, and MP for Offenso South, Abdallah Banda. And the terms of reference for that committee were to, one, establish the allegation. That is, if the first deputy speaker, Jose Usu, indeed took money from Boache Jako and gave it to minority chief with Muntaka Mubarak. The committee is also to do an internal inquiry to find out whether there were attempts to bribe other members of the committee, and also to look into the remit of the complaints and assertions made by the first deputy speaker. So let's quickly continue with our stories now. The report of the 5-member ad hoc committee set up to investigate the bribery allegations against the chairman and some members of the Appointment Committee of Parliament has been delivered. Will be delivered tomorrow, Thursday, March 30. The majority leader, Oseche Mensah Bonsu, says that he's certain that the motion will be moved Thursday, but was not sure if it will be adopted the same day.
Almost every member of society is interested in knowing the outcome of the 5-member committee that was set up by the Speaker of Parliament to investigate the bribery allegation that was leveled against the chair and some members of the Appointments Committee. Well, this morning, the chairman of the committee, Honorable Joe Gate, has laid the paper, and we were expecting that the motion will be taken for members to debate and the report adopted. But the Speaker has deferred the matter to tomorrow. The majority leader was hopeful members would have ample time to peruse the report to enable them contribute meaningfully to the debate on Thursday.
It's quite a voluminous document, about 50-page document. And given the circumstances surrounding this whole imbroglio, you would expect every member to have a copy. I have not cited one myself.
Can we be assured that tomorrow the motion will be moved?
I can give assurance on that. The motion certainly will be moved tomorrow. As to whether we conclude it, it will depend on all of us in plenary. I want to believe that we'll be able to do it and put it behind us.
He explained the delay in presenting the report was because members, including those involved in the allegation, were occupied with other parliamentary duties.
Other matters also came in, unanticipated matters, when some of the people who were being interviewed suggested to the committee that they should assess some evidence on CCTV cameras in the house. So the committee applied to the leadership, and we granted them additional space to further interrogate matters.
Meanwhile, the House is not likely to rise on Thursday as scheduled.
We have quite a lot before us, so we want to see if maybe we're able to complete everything by next week. The budget estimates we haven't finished. Certainly do the Appropriations Act on Friday. There are those statutory funds that we need to confront, in particular against the background of this new law. We have to let it affect the apportionments to the statutory funds.
And the former member of parliament for Nkranza South and former deputy local government minister Emmanuel Ejekum has served notice he will sue over the raid of his house by a task force set up to retrieve state properties, including cars, in the hands of private individuals. And we were expecting to speak with Emmanuel Ejekum, who agreed to speak to us, but later has declined because he has been legally advised not to speak on the matter pending his decision to go to court. This is News at 10. We're live on TV3 and live on 3FM 92.7 as well. You can hear us on the TuneIn app on your mobile phone if you have one and you have the app. We'll take a break here and we'll be right back. Please stay.
am going to be your investment advisor for today.
This is how the money goes and doesn't come back if you just keep spending. If you're not careful, you'll be eating your fufu without soup.
So you need Heritage Fund, a long-term investment for your long-term projects, child's education and retirement.
Invest in First Fund to provide the best returns and ready cash in times of need.
We can help you raise money for your business or even own part of a company.
Don't do this to your money. Top up your investments regularly at our partner banks using post-dated check or cash payment at our offices.
So, do you have any questions?
Investments advice made simple. Even children understand.
Hooray! Now the new Star Times modern combo decoder bi. The boy 140 Ghana cedis per Albania over 100 international satellite channels. Ahwe, busumi biano 15 Ghana cedis per ana ubetuya. Ani, we betime as your Star Time world so joining the new digital era. Now ni abusuya enya de ekwosu bi so faso.
Star Time, Dark Times, Star Times. Star Times only on Star Times.
Star Times, change your view.
Watch New Day every weekday at 6 a.m. New Day is brought to you by Givers Capsules.
When the news breaks, reporters and anchors broadcast it. Analysts will talk about the impact of this on society. But current affairs will set the agenda for policymakers to implement it. This is what we do on Agenda. It's sharp, authentic, and hard-hitting. My name is Deborah Kwabla. Join us as we set the agenda.
Agenda now shows on Sundays at 3 p.m. only on TV3 and is supported by 3FM 92.7 Accra.
Welcome back. Now, the Deputy Minister Designate for Justice and Attorney General Joseph Dindok Pemba has suggested a complete ban on illegal mining activities as the way to go in dealing with the menace. Appearing before the Appointments Committee of Parliament, he noted this will give room for restructuring to ensure that entities go through stiffer procedures to acquire licenses.
I watched a clip about a week ago about one of the rivers in Ghana, a picture 20 years ago and a picture last month of the same river, and it was very, very, very obscene and disturbing. So my position on this matter, as I will be assisting my minister in this, is that at least looking at the gravity of and the enormity of the issue at stake, some ban, complete ban at least, so that we restructure the system in such a way that when we eventually begin to give licenses again, then we'll ensure that the right things are done. Because we can continue to talk about the fact that it is the livelihood of people. But it is only because we are living that we are mining. If we die, we shall not be mining.
Right, let's do some analysis now. Edward Kwesi Okwaku is Director of Research and Policy at Artisanal Small Mining Africa Network, and he's here with me. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much. I heard the, I'm fine, thank you. I heard the Deputy Minister say, calling for a total ban on small-scale mining. The issue of Galamsey, tell me first, as an artisan and a small miner yourself, how worried are you about the effect of illegal mining on our natural environment?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, let me do this correction. I am not a miner myself, but I am an advocate
for the
of responsible small-scale mining in Ghana. And as a research or advocacy group, what we have always done is to promote responsible mining. Now, I
like that. I mean, a lot of people confuse your activities as part of Galamsey. So I'm happy that you're clarifying
that is one of the things that we've had to contend with. You see, there are people who are legally doing the right thing and making sure that they do the right processes, go through the right process, and then when they have done, they do what we call, you know, I mean, backfilling.
But those are not in the majority, are they?
Yeah, they are very few. Yes, I agree to that. But you see, it's also because as a country, we have failed to regulate the sector. And that is why I think that the MPP government and the minister in particular, beginning this approach for me.
So now you're laying the blame squarely at the doorstep of the regulators and not the illegal miners?
No, you see, I mean, as human as we are, every human being want to have a free day. It's natural. So it's important. That is why we always have to have laws. And we need to have enforcement agencies who are very much equipped to be able to enforce the laws. For me, I think that we have failed as a state when it comes to regulation of the mining sector generally. Even with the large-scale mines, I tell you, mostly it's because they are cloned. They have big walls around them. But when you go in there, you see that they are perpetuating a lot of illegality. You understand? So I think that for me, the approach should be that banning it completely, like the deputy minister suggested, for me, is also not the best way out. When government attempts to do that, I believe the government will begin to face legal actions. Because if I'm a small-scale miner,
you're indirectly issuing a threat.
Exactly.
That's what you're doing.
Exactly. And government has given me a license to mine for 1 year or 2 years, and I've not done anything illegal, and you tell me to stop.
No one has any right to stop you when you have acquired a license. But tell me what the process is in acquiring a license. I'm asking this on the back of the fact that people have argued that the cumbersome or complex nature of the processes involved in getting a license actually discourages a lot of people from going through that process to get a license. Is it that complex to get a license?
Yes, rightly so. It is a bit complex, but sincerely speaking also, it cannot be so much simplified. Because you see, you are trying to acquire mineral rights. Now, there's so much, you know, involved. I mean, we have the land title ownership that belongs to the chiefs. And then you have the mineral right that is vested in the president on behalf of the state. And then you are also looking at the environmental impact and all that. So it brings in so many other stakeholders, and you need to, you know, be able to contact even the district assembly, the interest of the district assembly, the local people and all that. So I think over time, the process has been a bit streamlined. You know, it's now a bit better. What the system, or let me say the ministry, has tried to do is to make sure that we can go through the processes, putting in place some specific timelines. What we have advocated for as, advocates in the sector is that we need to be able to have a one-stop shop where somebody can go and then have the processes run to the end.
Or get, get sufficient information to finish the process.
At the moment, the way you have to hop around, you know, move from one sector, you go today, you don't meet the person in charge, you go here and then they tell you how to be here for a month.
That encourages a lot of corruption also.
Exactly.
So let's focus on the problem. You have said that you think that the problem is lack of enforcement of the available regulations. The law is not biting hard enough. And you've also told me that only a few of you do legal small-scale mining. A few of those you advocate for do legal small-scale mining. What is stopping the larger group which are engaged in the illegal activities to regularize their activities?
Well, a number of factors. You see, one of them is that most of the areas where these guys are mining are not, the sizes do not conform to the acceptable sizes that can be licensed. Because the Minerals Commission and the ministry has it that you can only license 25, acres of land for a small-scale mine. Now you have this community youth who think that they don't have jobs to do, therefore they need to get themselves these.
And they don't have a 10-acre land. They don't have a 25-acre.
And it's not qualified. You see, so I think that it's an omission within the law. I've always said that we need
the law
to
should be reviewed
because
to factor this.
Exactly, because we have the artisanal system. These artisans are people whom, you know, way back during the times of our forefathers were, you know, just gathering stones and then, you know, just grinding them and making something out of it. And that is where we got even the terminology galamsey. It is gather and sell. That was corrupted to mean galamsey. That's right. Galamsey is nothing. It's the word gather and sell that people have now connoted to mean galamsey.
But people are gathering and selling and they are destroying the environment. So if the government reviews the commission, reviews the law to make it easy for people who have 10 acres to be able to mine, what is the guarantee that they will work within acceptable environmental limits and reclaim the lands and don't pollute the rivers and waters?
Stephen,
we don't have guarantees.
Let me assure you that when it comes to destruction of the environment, I'll tell you, it's not even the 10 and the 15 and the 20 acre people who are destroying it.
Who are destroying?
It is the large scale people, those who have, you know, the 30 acre, the 25 acre, the 40 acre. They are using big machinery.
They have the financial muscle to bring in huge machinery.
Exactly. Those working on the 10 acre people, they are people who don't even have the money. They are using pickaxes, shovels, and the rest, you know, to work. But the problem here is that, you see, I talk about the enforcement and the enforcement and the enforcement. You see, as human as we are, if you give anybody the chance, you tell him, look, don't mine close to this water body. Now, once the person begins to see traces of gold getting closer to the water, there's the tendency that he'll be tempted because he wants money. So what we need to do is to have a well-resourced enforcement unit within the Minerals Commission. They have the Inspectorate Division, but I can tell you they are under-resourced. You have the Environmental Protection Agency. They keep telling you they are under-resourced. Ideally, every mining site projects are going on should have been visited at least every week by an official of the Mine Inspectorate Division.
Interesting. I've had quite a lot of education from your expose. But moving on, we have been confronted with this menace, and everyone is angry about this, also possibly because there is a lot of awareness created by media exposure of the problem. This problem has existed for quite a long time. Moving forward, what should we be doing? You've spoken about enforcement, you've spoken about reviewing the laws. Are these enough?
Yes, they are not enough. We need to do more. But I believe that going forward, you see, there's the need for regular consultations. Now, I have heard...
With people like yourself.
Exactly. I have heard this morning, if I never heard from the mouth of the minister, but I've heard somebody saying that the minister has said that he will not consult anybody. I want to believe that Honorable Amewu might not have said that. If he has said that, I consider it to be very unfortunate because personally I've worked with him before. And I know that he has been a civil society activist when he worked with the Africa Center for Energy Policy. That's right. And he knows what consultations can do. I believe that no matter what the problem is, it's always important to engage people, the major stakeholders. I would want him to engage the major stakeholders, gather, because there have been a lot of solutions proposed over the time. We can sit down, harmonize these solutions, and see which ones will better work for the country.
For our interests.
Exactly.
I'm grateful for your time, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Stephen Enti. And this is still News at 10. We're live on TV3 and 3FM 92.7 as well. We have more news for you. Please stay.
Watch New Day every weekday at 6 a.m. New Day is brought to you by Givers Capsules.
Business, the heartbeat of every economy. The booze and the chairs of the stock market shows who's making profit and who's crumbling under the harsh business environment.
On Business Focus, we crowd out the noise for you to make informed decisions on your investments. I'm Pakwisi Asare and I talk business.
Business Focus, Mondays 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Asad Tech Roofing, Acacia Health Insurance.
And the Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Afriyie-Akoto, has reiterated government's determination to provide 750,000 jobs this year through the Planting for Food and Jobs program. At the launch of the National Organizing Committee of the 560 million CD program, he explained 50% of the funds will be used for fertilizer subsidy.
In his 2016 manifesto, the New Patriotic Party promised to promote agriculture through a program that Planting for Food and Jobs. The program is designed to encourage all citizens, both urban and rural, to take up farming as full-time or part-time activity. The program, which will be rolled out at the start of this year's farming season, will involve the production of maize, rice, soya beans, sorghum and vegetables. At the launch of a 9-member National Organizing Committee, the Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Afriyie-Akoto, expressed the need to generate more wealth in the agriculture sector by improving the livelihood of farmers and fisher folks with the aim of growing the economy.
The strategy of this government, which is encapsulated in Planting for Food and Jobs, is to increase agricultural productivity. And through that, to increase production, to increase agricultural exports, to reduce agricultural food imports, to make food cheaper.
He explained farmers with 2 acres of land and above are qualified to be engaged in the program.
The Planting for Food and Jobs is just the spearhead of the general campaign asking all the 28 million Ghanaians to put something in the soil. Wherever you are, what age, you can put something in the soil.
He chided the committee members to put their expertise to bear to make the program a success.
The Ministry of Education has challenged chartered accountants to be conversant with the income tax legislation to support the financial management of government in the public service. The ministry is of the view such moves would help reduce the flouting of financial regulations and promote proper auditing and accounting in the service.
The Sector Minister, Dr. Maito Poku-Prempeh, made the observation in a speech read on his behalf by the Head of Research at the National Council for Tertiary Education, Dr. Emmanuel Newman, at the graduation ceremony of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana in Accra. In all, 248 graduated and have now been admitted into the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana as members. They undertook courses in corporate reporting, advanced auditing and assurance, financial management, as well as taxation and fiscal policy. Others also undertook courses in public sector accounting and finance, as well as corporate strategy, ethics and governance. About 10 of the students who excelled received special awards for displaying deeds of hard work in the subject areas. Head of Research at the National Council for Tertiary Education, Dr. Emmanuel Newman, urged them to abide by the financial regulations in the public service.
I wish to entreat you all to be conversant with these systems and legislations so that you'll be able to function if you are confronted with. Your professional training has equipped you with the ability to dream and develop a vision that can be realized and also to contribute to national development.
President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Christian Soti, encouraged them to uphold integrity and professionalism in the course of their work.
In addition to our locally qualified members, membership is also given to affiliates of foreign accountancy bodies who have either met our pre-qualification or post-qualification criteria for membership.
The University of Professional Studies, UPSA, has introduced a masterclass program with focus on mentorship to adequately prepare students for the job market. Vice Chancellor Professor Abednego Oko-Amate notes the growing unemployment rate can only be reduced if students are encouraged to create their own jobs.
Employment in Ghana is recognized as both basic human and constitutional rights. Unemployment has consistently increased from a very low rate of 2.8% in 1984 to an unacceptable high rate of 11.9% in 2015. The situation seems more precarious for the youth aged between 18 and 35 years, forming about 60% of the unemployed. The inability for both government and the private sector to solve the problem makes it a serious development challenge and a major concern of Ghanaians. A number of factors account for the growing youth unemployment in Ghana. The Labour Ministry named other courses as school curriculum without adequate plan for integration into trade, vocation to fit the job market. The ministry also mentioned the absence of a good link to the needs of important sectors of the economy as well as the slow private sector growth. And these are what the University of Professional Studies set to eliminate through innovative masterclass program. The one-week extracurriculum exercise brings various industry players and final year students together in a mentor situation.
The rationale is simple, because if you are going to go on the job market, if I were an employer and you come with a first class but no professional qualification, and somebody gets an ordinary pass but he or she has a professional qualification, I will take that person. And that is the kind of competitive advantage that we want to give to our students.
The compulsory program is aimed at adequately psyching the students up for the job market.
I would want to add that, we can take it a step further, where even when we leave here, we can trace you wherever you are. And I'm quite sure, so we can even follow through how you are faring, how you move from the fairly basic level to the operational level and to a more strategic level.
President of the Students' Union lauded the initiative, urging the school authorities to ensure sustenance and expansion for a long-term benefit.
That's it for News at 10. Thank you for making time. And for those who listened on radio, we're grateful that you tuned in. I'm Stephen Anti, and on behalf of the crew here, good night.